There is not one singular event that has happened in my life that contributed more to me getting into the Marine Corps other than 9/11. I've done videos in the past that talked about why I joined the Marines, and you know, the second biggest factor behind it was probably because I was broke. I mean, let's keep it real. I lost my scholarship for school. I was in college, and I also lost a couple of jobs that I was working at the time, working at Joe's Crab Shack, and just that was the second reason. But I remember explicitly where I was and what I was doing when 9/11 occurred. I was in the 10th grade, transitioning, I think from first to second period, or second to third period, whatever the time was in the morning, Central Time, here in Dallas, Texas. I remember walking into the classroom, and then I went to Dallas Independent School District, and in Dallas Independent School District, when your high school grew too big for the building itself, we brought in these buildings, we called them portables. So literally buildings that were brought in on the back of 18-wheelers, similar to like a manufactured home. Bring them in, kids can go to class there. So I had a class inside of a portable that day. And I remember walking in, and my teacher had the AV cart pointed at herself. So we walk in directly to our desks, and she has the cart pointed towards her, so no one else in the class can see it. And you remember the AV carts, those that are 30 and above, maybe 35 and above, can remember the audio visual carts when it's a TV and a VCR combo all in one. And she had that turned to herself, and that TV just happened to have the local news because she had the bunny antennas on there. She's crying, and we're like, well, why is she crying? And she finally decided to turn the TV towards us so that we can see the second, like literally she turned it towards us right before the second plane hit the second tower for the Twin Towers. And I remember thinking, like, what is going on? What are the Twin Towers? Like, these are things that were immediately coming to my head. And then as I transitioned from a 10th grader to eventually a 20-year-old and older, and started to really understand what it meant to be attacked, learn what Al-Qaeda was, and just really understand the consequences of the actions that were taken by folks. Give me a second. That's when I started to realize more and more how disgusting it was that our nation was attacked. And as I was deciding, as I lost my job, and it made the decision even easier to join the military, later on in life. I say all that to say, comment down below, tell me where you were during 9/11. If you're not old enough to remember 9/11, if you were born right before that, for instance, my sister was born in 98. She doesn't really remember 9/11 like that. I'll link up a podcast that talks about where the country was the day of 9/11, the news reports from that day, the hunt for bin Laden, Rob O'Neill, who put the bullet in the dome of bin Laden. I have all that type of stuff. But I remember where I was explicitly. But that catalyst, that springboard, along with my training in the Marines, was a kind of something that sprang me forward into where I am today in regards to survival, prep, EDC, and why I do some of the things that I do. Is your gear going to be something that's going to actually help you if we were to get another 9/11? Do you think that you have the everyday essentials that could help you with anything that may have some type of attack that could happen within your town, within your city? I hope you actually have stuff that can help prepare you for those events. The reason that you guys see me do power station reviews and survival kits and what type of knife are you gonna have on you and what type of gun you should have is because these are the things that I go through when I prep myself, when I prep my family for any type of event that could happen on any given day. That's why the stuff actually is why I do this stuff, why I own the larger bags, why I have different kits, why I have emergency radios, because the attacks of 9/11, I don't think will ever be duplicated in the same manner. Ever since then, we came up with TSA and we came up with much more security measures, and the attacks, they're different. The most likely type of attack that we would ever occur in the future would probably be cyber or lone wolf. But I'm trying to prepare my family and prepare myself for either of the two. It does not matter which one we were to possibly run into. I always just want to be prepared. That's why I always just stress the importance of being able to prepare yourself to bug in way more than bugging out. I'm at the stage now where I do and I have planned a bug out location. I have a bug out location. And that's what is, I'm prepared for and all that good stuff. But I just stress, guys, that as much as you may enjoy the concept of having as many knives as you can, and a lot of you do, as much as you may enjoy the concept of having the brightest and best flashlight, and many of you do, or the fattest or dopest watch that you may have, I would say that I want you to focus on your survival and prep more than your everyday carry. I talk a lot about everyday carry, but I think that bigger picture, you should always be ready to rock and roll for anything that could occur when it comes to some type of large scale attack. 9/11, this being, 2001 to 2024, what is this, the 23rd remembrance anniversary that we have, and 9/11 has brought on a lot of positive thoughts for me because of the things that happened to me in the Marine Corps. And but for the tragic events of 9/11, I would have never had those experiences in the Marine Corps of going and fighting terror overseas, contributing to the fight for the right to defend ourselves. But that has not left me since leaving the Marine Corps. Everything that I do when it comes to prep and survival is for the hypothetical that it could happen again. And I think that we become complacent as the years continue to go by. We had the World Trade Center bombing in Oklahoma that a lot of people kind of just didn't really allow to affect them because it didn't happen to them. Look at that creaminess when it comes to that espresso. It looks really good. We're gonna turn this into an Americano. I don't think I told you I am drinking a little bit of Airship Buffalo blend. The Marine X blend is still coming, so keep your eye out for that. If you're a coffee head and you think you want some coffee, I think you'll enjoy what the Marine X blend has going on. But I just want you guys to not overly focus on your kit when it comes to EDC. I have some more stuff coming up when it comes to survival. We're gonna revisit the SE Advanced Survival Kit and why I was completely wrong 3 years ago when I initially reviewed that bag, and where I am now with this thing. And we got the Americano on deck. But comment down below. Make sure you like this video as well. Where were you during 9/11? Those that are older than me, I know there's folks that are out there that are older than me. I'm 38. And so you guys may have more explicit memories because you may have already been in the workforce, and you may have, what was going on at your job? Those that don't live in this country, I know folks that watch from Australia and the UK, what was going on in your country? What were you guys thinking? Because the attack that happened to us during 9/11 is the only time that Article 3 powers of NATO have ever been executed since NATO was thought of after World War II. World War II ended and we came up with this thing called NATO, which is an alliance for if one nation is attacked, then all nations are attacked, and we can execute Article 3 and the other nations will come in the defense of that one nation that was attacked. That Article 3 declaration has literally been executed one time, and that was when we got attacked for 9/11. That's why any of you folks that were served active duty, or you just researched the years where we fought terror, anytime you went out into Afghanistan or Iraq, you may notice on your bases, there was just a coalition of forces from everywhere. Those were NATO allied forces that were there to support the attack that happened to the US. And I remember being out there with the Georgians, and as hungry as they were, they ate like crazy, and being out there with the Brits and being out there with the Australians, which I don't know if the Australians are proud of NATO, but the point is that they came and they supported us. So prepare yourselves. Remember this day, whatever you do to remember for 9/11. I don't do anything extravagant. I always just reflect on what I was doing and how 9/11 affected where I am today. That's all I got. I need to bang out this coffee and actually do some work. Oh my God. I'm not tooting my own horn, but this is a banger. Y'all have a good day.